Hello everyone. So today we are going to deal with a new chapter number 15 from first book Life on the Earth. So here students, first of all we'll talk here about the life on the earth, how we survive, all the animals survive in the earth. So here first of all is biosphere. Students, actually, if I ask you a question, define biosphere. So, what is biosphere? It is the most active sphere of the earth in comparison to the lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. Okay, so here you can see hydrosphere, lithosphere, and atmosphere. It is a narrow strip of organism at margins of land, water, and air, all organism together with the environment with which they interact from the biosphere. Okay, so here students, next we'll talk about the biotic and abiotic factors. So biotic factors and abiotic factors, students, biotic factors are it's having life or living components of the environment, right? And like if I give you example like plants, human, animals. And abiotic factors, it's have no life or non-living components of the environment like soil, rainfall, temperature, cloud, air. Okay, so like climate and edaphic factors such as soil and substratum are abiotic factors, right? Then these are the example like biotic factors and abiotic factors examples you can see. These are living biotic factors and abiotic are non-living. Now let's talk about the ecosystem. So all the components entering into interactions with a group of organism are called ecosystem. Okay, so ecosystem is consisting of biotic and abiotic factors, right? Here you can see ecosystem, and in the next block you can see abiotic factors like sunlight, temperature, precipitation, water or moisture, and soil. And then biotic factors you can see primary producers, herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous, and detritus. Next is ecology. So, what is ecology, students? Actually, the word ecology has been derived from Greek word ecos and logy. Actually, the eco means house and logy means a kind of science. Okay, study of house. It means we are study of relationship between biotic and abiotic factors on the earth, right? Next, we'll talk about the types of ecosystem. So, how many types of ecosystem? So, ecosystems are like first is terrestrial ecosystem and second is aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial systems, it's found on the land area. Okay, whatever the creatures lived on the land. These are like example is community, biome, and aquatic ecosystem. It is found in water. It's two type, like first is freshwater ecosystem, for example pond, lake, river, marshes, and second is marine waters ecosystem like oceans, coral reefs, estuaries. So I'll show you the picture of coral reefs. It is found in under the ocean, and this is estuaries. Actually, have you seen the delta? So this is just opposite of it. It is estuaries. Now, structure and functions of ecosystem. So here students will talk about the structure of ecosystem, and then ecosystem is consisting of like sun, soil, nutrients, producing green plants, primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, dead remains, decomposers, and like if we talk about producing green plants like grass and trees, and primary consumers are like cow, goat, deer, because they used to eat green trees. And then secondary consumers are snake, tiger, lion. And then we have tertiary consumers is hawk, mongoose. And then dead remains are dead bodies. and decomposes as bacteria and fungus. So these all you have studied in the previous class, students. Now next is functions of ecosystem. So here this is the flow chart. Through this you can understand is the function of ecosystem, right? Because ecosystem, a biotic community along with the physical environment forms an interacting system, it is called ecosystem, right? And but here we are going to study about the functions. So which, what is the function of ecosystem, right? So through this chart you can easily understand is, see, what is the system, ecosystem. So actually students, energy, sun is the major source of energy. So this energy enters the living world through photosynthetic organism, and then it passes on from one organism to another in the form of food, right? And then the organism which traps solar energy and act as a producers also use some energy for their own life processes. Only a portion of the energy trapped is taken up by the primary consumers. Animals are more active than plants, so hence they have need more energy, right? And then at each stage of energy transfer, some amount of energy is lost from the food chain. The amount of energy transferred to the next higher level thus gradually decreases. So here you can see producers green plants, primary consumers herbivorous, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, top carnivorous, and then these all, like producers green plants and tertiary consumers top carnivores, and these two primary as secondary consumers are in dead remains, and then these are uh, convert into decomposers, and then these producers green plants are soil nutrients, right? So the decomposition of dead organism also releases chemical energy. Eventually all the solar energy that enters the life system through the producers goes to back into the non-living world. So in nature the food relationship is not explained in terms of single food chain. A herbivorous consumers many types of plants or plants producers. Many kind of animals other than the tiger derived food from herbivorous animals. Okay, so through this chart you can understand it easily and you will learn very easily. Food chain, types of food chain, energy flow and food web. So here student, like cycle of energy and nutrients flow in an ecosystem. Like food chain if we talk about, so it starts from the sun, okay, from the energy. So the sequence of eating and being eaten and the resultant transformation of energy from one level to another is known as food chain. Clear students? So here this you can see through this step by step you can understand it. Then we have types of food chain. So here first is grazing food chain and second one is detritus food chain. So grazing food chain, students, it's one which goes from green plants to grazing herbivores and finally to carnivores. Okay, so here you can see in the first picture grazing food chain. So step by step you can see photosynthesis, then herbivorous, then it convert into, goes to carnivorous, from producers to primary consumer, then secondary consumers, and then tertiary consumer. Then detritus food chain, here you can see one which goes from dead organism, organic matter to microorganism and then to detritus feeding organism, right? You can see here. Next is energy flow. So the transfer of energy from one food level to another food level is called as energy flow. So here you can see fourth trophic level, and then here you can see consumers and then producers. So in the producers you can see there is a green tomato plant, and then in the second tropical level you can see beetle, and then third tropical level is bird, and the third after fourth tropical level is cat. Food web. So here is the food web, students. The interconnecting network of species is known as food web. So here you can see crisscross here, like a simple food web. You can see birds eats beetles, and then beetles used to have some food, plants primary produces also. So here you can see this is called food web. Next is community, biomes and types of biomes. So here we'll talk about the community, and then we talk about the biomes, and then next we talk about the types of biomes, right? So students, firstly will talk about the community. So here you can see about the community. So community is many populations are there, like many more birds and some animals you can see. And in the biomes is a plant and animals community that covers a large geographical area, right? And then we have, for example, like forest biome, desert biome, grassland biomes. Types of biome like aquatic, desert, forest, grasslands and tundra. So types and subtypes of biomes, like aquatic biomes, there is example like freshwater, marine, and desert biome like hot and dry desert, semi-arid desert, coastal desert, cold desert. And in the forest you can see tropical, equatorial, deciduous, temperate, boreal, and grasslands, tropical savanna and tropical steppe, and tundra of altitudinal biomes, right? Then we have my biogeochemical cycle. So here students, the cyclic movement of chemical elements of the biosphere into between the organism and environmental referred to as biochemical cycle. So here you can see that start from the photosynthesis, from the energy, then it decay organism, then organic carbon, then it moves to dead organism and waste produced products, fossils and fossil fuels, then root is respiration. So here you can see step by step this cycle. Types of biogeochemical cycles. So we have here water cycle, oxygen cycle, carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle. So here if we talk about carbon cycle, so it's start from the plant, okay, photosynthesis, then next is the store, then root respiration, soil respiration, and then atmosphere. Then next is animals respiration, then it convert into atmosphere, it moves to atmosphere. Animal, then dead remains, and then decomposition, soil respiration, and then atmosphere. So here you can see carbon cycle, and then nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle, here you can see students, it constitute 79% of the atmosphere. And then important constituents of protein, amino acid, vitamins, etc. Then next is nitrogen is only usable after fixation, that is it should be changed to nitrate or nitrogen oxide for use, right? So here students, soil bacteria and blue green algae only are capable of utilizing nitrogen directly in its gaseous form, right? And then next we have students nitrogen cycle. So in the nitrogen cycle, nitrogen is the major constituent of the atmosphere, okay, and it comprises 79% of the atmospheric gases, okay. So generally nitrogen is used only after it is fixed. 90% of the fixed nitrogen is biological. Clear? So this is the cycle. Then we have oxygen cycle, student. In the oxygen cycle, oxygen is the major byproduct of photosynthesis, and it is used in the oxidation of carbohydrates with the release of energy, carbon dioxide and water. So the cycling of oxygen is very complex process. Oxygen occurs in numerous chemical forms and combinations, and it combines with nitrogen to form nitrates. With many other minerals and elements, it forms various oxides like iron oxide, aluminium oxide and others. So it is released in the atmosphere through transpiration and respiration process of plants. Ecological balance. So in the ecological balance, student, is a state of dynamic equilibrium within a community of organism in a habitat or ecosystem. Okay, then we have cooperation in ecosystems. So cooperation, it's helpful interaction among the organism living in a limited area work together. Interest specific between members of same species and work together in colonies, right? So you must have seen, I think. Then causes change in ecological balance. So introduction of new species, human pressure on the earth resources, urbanization and development, unplanned construction works. So it really affects mining activities, pollution, killing of animals. Ecological succession is series of progressive change in the species that make up a community over time. Ecologists usually identify two types of succession which differ in the starting points. Okay, one is primary succession, newly exposed or newly formed rock and colonized by living things for the first time. And the secondary succession area that was previously occupied by living things in the disturbed, then re-colonized following the disturbance. Then we have primary succession, secondary succession, and then message to the students, we really we should plant more and more trees. Really, when if we have more trees and plants, so it's really affects on our atmosphere. Okay, so at least one tree for the sake of our earth and creatures we should plant. So thank you so much, student. This was about the chapter Life on the Earth.